Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to everyone.
Most of you have started AI in your school, right?
Yes, ma'am.
We have not yet started.
Oh, you have, you're lucky. You have time to prepare and
Yeah, right.
start it.
That is why I'm eagerly waiting. How far is?
We are learning on the go. Now,
Right.
depending upon the circular which Venkat sir shared yesterday, so the skill subjects are going to be there in the younger classes as well.
Oh, actually 6 and 7 and all.
Yes. So there's going to be a lot of change that's going to come in.
So, Shibi, regarding this circular that you just shared about, so I had a chance conversation with one of the Microsoft reps in India. She's a very close friend.
Mhm.
And I was discussing with her today in the morning that, what is it that we are looking at, bringing in coding skills as per NEP in the school curriculum for the middle school for 6 to 8, and looking at DS as a skill subject for 9 to 12. So she said that, the curriculum is based on the concept of understanding what computational thinking is all about, number one. Number two, since we are looking at coding, this is going to have a lot of creative coding. So it is going to be more of consumers of technology. Sorry, not just be consumers of technology, but also creators of technology, right? So as far as grade 6 is concerned, so since this has been done in partnership with Microsoft, so they are bringing in a lot of Microsoft products line, and that's what the CBC curriculum is also based on. So it looks like you are looking at Minecraft coming in, and you're looking at microbit coding coming in.
Okay.
And, you're looking at Java scripting coming in. So those 2-3 things are an integral part of this whole conversation.
Oh, great.
As far as DS is concerned, data science is concerned, well, data science is again just like what we've been talking about as a smaller part of our artificial intelligence journey. Like it's like one of the domains of AI, like data for AI that we talk about, data science that we talk about. So it's going to be on a more progression level, where we begin with what is data and understanding how data works with us. And without data, nothing is possible. Like it's the fuel for today, right? And I think, Hari sir, you will also agree with me. A chatbot won't be a chatbot if you do not give it the intent and the data for it, right?
Exactly.
So,
No. And in this session also, I'll cover about how to get the input of data and how to prepare a data set also.
So that's the idea, that they're looking at grade 9 to 12 curriculum for data science. So I'm trying to reach out to my links with CBSE, and I tried to reach out to RP Singh sir, but he was not available today in the morning, because I thought that since the session is in the afternoon, if I could have a little bit more clarity on it, probably I could give you more conversation information on it. But yes, so even though this looks like more Microsoft oriented, the products being Microsoft oriented, so I think we still believe that not everybody, if is interested in Minecraft, would still, I think, should think about talking about teaching computational thinking and how algorithms and flowcharts are utilized for teaching and designing the pseudocodes, and irrespective of the language. Language is just a syntax. It's just it's the idea, it's a thought that really makes matter, right? I think that would be very important if we have an outline. So we will definitely have one more conversation regarding this on a much larger scale once the CBSE curriculum comes out, because the handbooks and the curriculum are still not out. So once we have that, I think it would be great if we could have one session on that also.
Yeah, sure, definitely. Thank you so much for sharing it with us. That's the power of connections, and that's the power of collaborations. We are not just people, we are educators, and we collaborate with each other. So we really appreciate your sharing with us regarding the new initiative that CBSE is planning to come forward with. So we have around 52 participants and just 3 more minutes to go. Okay, my mobile says 3 o'clock. My laptop says it's 3 more minutes. So which one is correct? What's the time right now?
3 is correct.
Oh, 3 is correct. So
It
we'll
is
start.
3 o'clock now.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I'll just let in one more participants, and we'll start the session because we respect the time of everybody who came in before the time. So good afternoon, everyone. One more Sunday with AI community of teachers, and we start the June with a special session by Hari, which is we will be taking through, he'll be taking us through a session based on building of chatbot using Python. The session will be an hour, 1.5 hours long. And at the end, we will also have a question answer session. But in case if you feel like as he's taking the session, you would like to ask something, you could put it in the chat box, or you could just unmute and ask him, or else I'll take it from the chat box. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Harilaxmanan. He completed his BTech in Mechanical Engineering from Amrita University in the year 2019. He worked as GET in Cognizant for a few months, and due to his keen interest in robotics, he resigned Cognizant and joined Amrita University, Coimbatore as a technical assistant. So he's currently working with Amrita University, Coimbatore, and he has completed more than 15 online certification programs in the subjects of robotics, artificial intelligence, and Python programming. So with all of your permission, I would like to invite and I would like to welcome him to this togetherness of AI community of teachers, and looking forward to your session, sir. So I don't want to take much of your time. Over to you for leading us through.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for inviting me here. And this is actually kind of a great opportunity for me to be here because among you teachers, everyone is professional here. And to be frank, I'm not so professional in teaching. But yes, like I have completed few of the sessions before with students, but this is like second time with teachers. So pardon me if I'm making some mistakes in between, or if you are not exactly in the track of my teaching methodologies, pardon me now. So let me just start away. And I think this won't be taking much of your minute time because it's actually a Sunday evening, right? So anyways, though you are interested, people would like teachers would really prefer to have a quite good Sunday. And this is only one day which you get some free times and you'll be preparing for your next full fun packed Mondays, right? So I'll try to complete in less than 1.5 hours. And yes, today's session is going to be about chatbot, and I'll walk you through how to build a chatbot and what exactly the chatbot is. And actually we are planning for another session also. I'm not sure like when we are going to do it or how, but the next session would be about the how to build chatbot using dialog flow, and it will be like bit advanced or more practical way. In this session also we'll be doing 3 types of chatbots practically. And yes, but I'll show you what are the stuff will be covered. And yes, the points to be discussed here in the session is I'll walk you through what exactly the chatbot is, what you can call or what bot can be called as chatbot and what cannot be. And the 3 different types of chatbots will be discussed, and we'll be discussing about applications. And once we get good base about what chatbot is, then we'll be moving on to how to build a chatbot using Scratch programming. So first, starting on with Scratch is good kickstart. Like you will get good understanding, and also it will be much more useful for you, I mean the faculties, to teach for the kids. So I think that would be necessary to include here. And we'll be doing a couple of programs using Python also. So nothing exactly, you don't need any kind of IDEs or in predefined or pre-installed Python programming or Python platforms. this session I'll cover everything. I mean, every practical thing in Google Colab itself. I hope everyone were or good aware of what Google Colab is. And yes, I have assumed that I mean, every teachers will have a good knowledge in Scratch, Google Colab, and Python. And I won't be going much into how to use Google Colab or how to use for Python libraries or actually, to be frank, a Python coding is more simple. It will be like the both of the practical sessions which I planned in this today program is that both will be under I mean, less than 20 lines of code only. So I don't think there is no much knowledge is needed for programming or building a chatbot using Python. Fine. Let's begin with what exactly a chatbot is. So the term chatbot sets an expectation around the user experience that technology can't deliver. That's the fact today. That we expect more from a chatbot, but today's chatbot or today's technology is not well advanced, or it is not up to the expectation of many users around the world. So what does this term chat actually means is that we chat with our friends, we chat with our colleagues, we chat with our faculties, or you chat with your kids. And it's like more of a friendly conversation or kind of a feel. And we usually chat when we are comfortable and we feel casual. So you can also take the chat in the whatever the direction you want. So that's what the whole term chat means. So chatting has specific kind of level, like I have mentioned earlier. So that will not be the user experience with bots, or maybe for like next couple of years. Like we could not expect such kind of casual talks or casual or more user friendly kind of chatting with the robots, at least for next couple of years. So many researchers and many product developers like Microsoft, Google, and Apple, many have been working a lot in this field to bring more user-friendly thing and more non-robotic way of talking in this chatbot field. Okay, and that's what that I mean. The more user-friendly or the more like I said earlier, the more um, friendly ways and non-robotic way is what machine learning and AI is coming under this whole chatbot thing. I think the past session in session 5 or session 4, I think you teachers have been well taught about what artificial intelligence is and what are the domains of artificial intelligence. And that's where chatbot also comes in. It is one of the subdomain of artificial intelligence. And more, I should say, chatbot is made using many machine learning models and NLP. I mean, the natural language processes. Fine. Let's go on for the formal definition of what chatbot is. So I have mentioned in the slide, a chatbot is a computer program or application that simulates and processes human conversation, either through text or voice. It enables the user or human to react or interact with the digital entities as if they are communicating with a real human. That's the feel which any kind of user would be expecting. So it should not be, like I said earlier, it should not be more robotic way. Like it should be a pakka chatbot or a good chatbot should not feel like I mean, should feel like we are talking with another human. So that's what a complete and more advanced chatbot is all about. So what exactly this chatbot is all about? Like it is piece of software that is designed to automate a specific task. More specifically, a chatbot is an essentially a conversational user interference that can be plugged into number of data sources via APIs. Like you can create many chatbot APIs and you can use it anywhere. Like you can use it in your website, you can use it in your mobile phone, or you can use it in certain platforms like Facebook, Telegram, WhatsApp, whatever platforms or whatever the digital entity it is going to be. We can integrate these kind of chatbots very easily using APIs. Okay, so that's all about what a chatbot is, and I hope you got a good idea. And I'll surely discuss about few applications also so that you get more information about it. And before going on to the applications, I want to show you what are the types of chatbot is. Or so Chatbots are different types and depending on how they are used. Mainly, there are three types of chatbot, as I mentioned in the slide. One is rule-based chatbot, another is independent chatbots, and the third part is NLP chatbots. So if you have already studied or went through certain websites about what chatbot is, most of you would have noticed actually the types of chatbots are two. One is a rule-based and another is machine learning or AI-enabled chatbots. I mean the advanced one. So I have in certain websites or in certain platforms, they have broken the AI chatbots into further two categories, which I mentioned here, the second and third point. The second type is more independent chatbots, and the third is NLP chatbots. So let me start explaining one by one. So the first thing, the first type, rule-based chatbot. This is a basic chatbot made. The user interacts with it with this kind of bot by using predefined option. So to get answer from these bots, user needs to click on certain options or just answer the options which are provided in the predefined way or pre-programmed way. Like more, I have to explain in a way that if we are going to build a chatbot, we will be providing only certain options for the users to interact with. So only those certain options or only those certain queries can only be answered by rule-based chatbot. So that's what the whole rule-based chatbot is all about. So these kinds of bots collect the user's request, analyze it, and offer the result in the form of usually buttons or options. So these are being used in FAQs, I mean, the frequently asked questions when it comes to complex queries. And of course, rule-based chatbots are not completely advanced level, or they are not a good solution for any kind of advanced queries. And you would have already encountered rule-based chatbot in certain platforms, like if you are opening or if you have used Telegram, certain Telegram chatbots give you options and only those options can be answered. And even in few websites, they are adapted to rule-based chatbot. And yes, you might have felt bad if there is no option for certain questions that you might have. And yes, that's one disadvantage of using a rule-based chatbot. And another few advantages of using rule-based chatbot is that it is easy to make. Of course, you can make just a chatbot using simple if-else conditions, or you can make using certain Python programming. But there is going to be a hard coding and hard work is going to be needed to get a complete rule-based chatbot. Another advantage is that if you're going to buy a rule-based chatbot, it is almost cheap of cost. Like you can buy from certain platforms or certain chatbot suppliers in the internet. So it is generally low cost. Like you can buy them and ask them to create a rule-based chatbot for your curriculum-based stuff, like for your class groups, or for you can make a chatbot for your if you are having a website, you can go for it. And that's the one slight advantage of having a rule-based chatbot. Okay, now let's talk about the second type, independent chatbots. Here's where machine learning and artificial intelligence comes up. So chatbots, these are machine learning chatbots, or unlike the rule-based chatbot. Here, these bots analyze what the user wants exactly and respond appropriately. So these chatbots are customizable keywords and machine learning to determine how to respond to users' requests effectively and efficiently. And they also try to, what exactly they do is that they try to get the keyword exactly from the query which we are asking or any user is going to ask. So we can type a whole huge sentence and ask this kind of help is what we needed into a chatbot. What the chatbot does is that it is not going to read all the line or all the alphabets in the text which any user have given as an input, but what it does is that it picks out the important keywords. So based on those keywords, it analyzes, and certain machine learning models out there, I mean inbuilt inside the chatbots, will get to analyze, parse it, and compares it with its database and gets the answer from its database. And that's how it is responding appropriately and efficiently. And the third thing is that NLP chatbot. So NLP or contextual chatbot is a whole another level, or more of an artificial intelligence is being needed here. because these robots are far more advanced than the previous two, and these are combination of best from the best from the rule based as well as the keyword based chatbots. NLP is nothing but it does have all the above two mentioned chatbots. I mean the rule based and independent, and it also has certain kind of algorithms or programs which where the robot or the chatbot can express in a more human friendly way. So that's what I've been talking in the beginning. A complete advanced robot or chatbot, what it does is that it will be more human friendly, that we even could not identify whether we are talking to a robot or we are talking to a human. So that's what the NLP chatbots does. So these chatbots use natural language processing to understand the context and the intent of the user's request and thus act accordingly. So these chatbots handle multiple requests from the same user at very ease. So even if you're asking a lot of questions and you're going to, either the user or any kind of student, even let's imagine for a second that we are going to build an educational NLP based chatbot. So a single chatbot could handle a whole classroom's queries. Like you teachers would have noticed, or you teachers have experienced, like if what happens if all at a time all the students are going to pop up the questions, like about more than 10 to 15 people are going to raise different types of questions. It's hard to attend them, it's hard to answer them, and it'll be tough, and we'll also forget few queries at the process.
Hari,
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
I'm just interrupting you. Teachers, if you put it in the chat box, he might miss it. So if you want to ask a question, you could just unmute and ask him. There are 3 questions which I would be taking right now, Hari. It said they want to know whether IBM Watson chatbot is of which type. IBM Watson. It is a chatbot of which type?
Okay, I would say IBM Watson is about second type. I mean the independent keyword chatbots. So IBM Watson is not much interactive, or it is not much user friendly, right? Even once I have explained this type, you would have got an idea of what kind of a robot might the Watson chatbot is all about. You could see the third type, or the contextual chatbot, is something where you could not identify whether it's we are chatting with a chatbot or we are chatting with a human. So that's the difference between the second and third type of chatbots.
And
I
also
hope that
one
answers.
more question. Cookie is an example of NLP. Is one more question in the chat box.
I'm so sorry that I have never encountered the word cookie. I could not recall whether
Kuki,
I have.
Kuki, Hari. It's Kuki. Maybe we can find it out, Shalini ma'am. We'll find it out.
Sure. Better at the end of the session, we'll just Google it out, and we can answer it right away, so that we
Yes, yes.
won't be forgetting that.
Yes,
And
yes.
it would be new thing for me also.
Right.
And yes, I have, sorry, I did not put this disclaimer. I'm also a beginner in this whole new technologies, and I have learned on my own. I did not have any kind of teachers, and I'm so sorry that if I could not able to answer few of your queries.
No, please don't sorry at all. We are all learners here. We'll ask you questions you don't know. You'd say you don't know. We have absolutely no issues. And I think there is the answer in the chat box. Divya says cookie is NLP. Okay, Shalini ma'am, we'll just cross check that also once again. Yeah, please carry on. Hari, I think we'll take the questions only at the end.
Sure. Like if some questions are needed or to be answered right away, we could go with it. It's nothing like interrupting me is going to harm in any ways, right? So let's have this. Fine. So next we'll be talking about the applications. Yeah, you would have, like many teachers are well known to these type of chatbots, or I should say that more teachers in the past sessions I have seen the recordings, and most teachers are well aware of what are the new technologies up there, and I think most of the teachers are using many kind of technology nowadays. So yeah, a few of these I have mentioned here. Like I look out for these. Like you might have already encountered few of these applications, and some might not be. And let me just say it out for you. In customer service, it is going to definitely help. Like in a website, like if you go to a chat, I mean Facebook, there is going to be a chatbot for you, and that's kind of customer service. And if you're going for an or a, well, let me say any kind of good company's website, there is going to be this customer service chatbot up there. And yes, suggested products, you could see, you could have encountered in Amazon also, suggested products pops up, and that is an good example of NLP. Like what it does is that in the search bar, the what are the products you're searching for, it takes and stores it in its database, and it will be personalized, and your favorite products in a while it will be recording it, and it will analyze it, and it will tell to you. So that's how those suggested products work. And offer discounts. And in medical field, let me say, for certain therapies, these kind of chatbots are being used. And not I don't think like it is not much used in medical sector, but there have been many researchers going up for how to build a chatbot to deal with psychology therapies, because there are less psychologists relatively than the persons who are really affected by certain mental problems. And it is not only about mental problems, but we do need certain talks, or we do need certain therapies which we are not even aware of. So it is not only for medication purposes, but there might be building a chatbots which can help for our loneliness, which can bring out of our depressions, or it can also be in certain motivational factors. So those kind of chatbots are also being built. And then in e-commerce, of course, again, Flipkart, in Amazon, almost in every sites nowadays chatbots are being integrated. And in vacational planning, and if you have encountered a few vacation planning websites like or I should say Sterling websites, and Mahindra even adapting this kind of vacation planning chatbots. And those kind of chatbots, what exactly are used for the owners is that it just eliminates the human's work. Like they don't need every human to attend the call, to attend the query, or to attend what are the places around their resort is going to be. So those kind of information, those kind of planning can be done using a chatbot. And yes, for money transfers, nowadays it will be improving. And for trading, and like for online trading or for Bitcoin trading, these kind of chatbots are being used. And one such example is that for in trading sectors, chatbot could
Sorry,
get,
sorry, नीचे भी सो रही है, sorry.
sorry, yeah. So in trading, in online tradings, there are chatbots where they could get the where they could web scrap and get the information right away about the what are the stocks you have enrolled, or what are the stocks you want to know about. I mean, like every day it comes up with the notification and ask you whether we can invest in, or how much can we invest today. So that's how user-friendly chatbot is being used in trading sectors. And news delivery, of course. And in there are chatbots for HR also, like human resource department. Like for recruiting purposes, chatbots are also being built. Fine. That being said and done, let's go on for a bit uh, technical technical cave of chatbots. So before learning about chatbots, we need to know about the different platforms and what are the benefits of using platforms, and what exactly the chatbot platform is all about. So like most of you would have already encountered what Azure Bot Service or IBM Watson Bot Service is all about, and even Dialogflow. So here I have mentioned few which you might not have encountered, and these are also few important and easy platforms where anyone can build these chatbots. So let's start on with Azure Bot Service. So Azure Bot Service offer to build a chatbot from very scratch. So that is, you can build and connect and even test it and evaluate and even deploy it anywhere you want. And it allows developers to use open source SDK and tools. It also enables developers to create advanced chatbots such as like a virtual assistant, like a Siri or Google Assistant. Those are types of virtual assistants. You can also build such kind of virtual assistants using Azure Bot Service. And Botify. So just like Spotify, we do have Botify. So Botify use is that this tool is a uniqueness that it enables non-technical users to build a chatbot with its intuitive interface. If you have, I would really suggest you after this session, you can check it out in the web, like you type for Bodify, and they give one of the best interface that any developers or any beginners can easily build a chatbot. And bots are represented here as stories. That is, you can create multiple stories or you can create multiple chatbot and deploy them as per the requirement. Another great feature is the ability to save users responses to form that can be easily exported as CSV, I mean in the Excel folder. So that one good feature is also available, so that you can again, if some teachers or somebody wants to analyze what are the chats or what are the queries being asked usually by the users, can be analyzed by exporting it to a CSV form. That can be done here easily. And another service is that Amazon Lex. So Amazon Lex allows developers to build conversational interference using text and voice also. It comes up with advanced deep learning functionalities and NLP for understanding the context of the text. So it provides an easy to use console for building chatbot in very few minutes. And the next important or intriguing platform is that Mobile Monkey. So Monkey offers developers to build chatbots specifically for marketing purposes. So it allows developers to make Facebook ad bots or SMS bots and even native web chatbots. Like you can integrate the bot which is made here with any kind of websites. So they also offer a ready-made chatbot templates for every business possible, which can be directly embedded with the website. Is specific for like I said earlier, it is marketing campaign. You can do with it, or if you're running out a passive business, you can integrate by using Mobile Monkey. And another chatbot platform is that Chatter on. So it claims to handle different types of rich content response from the bot, and it also allows the developers to connect different APIs at each interaction with the users. So it is a bit complicated, and those who prefer to build a advanced level chatbot, you can go with Chatter on. Though it does not require much of coding, though, which makes it easier for non-technical users to build chatbots very easily at ease. Okay, so now you would have got a good understanding of what kind of platform that one could make use of to build a chatbot. But in this session, we are going to go for hard coding, because once you're well understood about the coding part, then it would be much more easier to use these platforms. And yes, Dialogflow is another good easy platform where we can build a chatbot. So we are planning for it for how to build a chatbot using Dialogflow in the future. And now let's talk about how to create a chatbot, the process of creating chatbot. So similar to the process of designing any software or any website, developing chatbot based on software involves following steps. Like I said, I mean, not I said, like many teachers would have already know what the design thinking process is all about. It is about 5 to 6 iterating processes. But the same kind of process is what in creation of chatbot is also used. And first thing is planning. So it is very important to have an in-depth understanding of what the end goal is all about, or what the process we are going to use, and also the user requirements. We need to understand the problem statement first, just like in design thinking. And it is also important to review all the design guidelines for stability, and to check if they meet the requirements of the chatbot as well as the users. So the bot should be designed with speech and natural language processing capabilities in order to offer a good Q&A solution and good conversation with the end user. Second thing is building. So chatbots brings in conversational interference for the platform and the end users to interact and to send or receive messages. So the following functionalities should be added to the chatbot to make it more completely builder. So natural language processing makes the bot more understandable. It can understand the language, it can detect the spelling mistake, and it identify the user's requirements using the keywords. and answering processes. So once it have got the understanding of what exactly the query is all about, and now comes the answering process. So in this, the chatbot needs to have a good knowledge or a strong database to handle the real-time queries of the user. So creating database is one important step here. And the another thing which we need to keep in mind while we are building a chatbot is that managing the multiple models. So chatbot should be able to decide which bot out to interact. Like if you're building multiple chatbots and integrating it all together, like I said earlier, that could be done easily using Chatron platform. So if you are dealing with multiple chatbots and integrating it together to build one single advanced chatbot, then you should be you should be in a way, or you should be aware of the algorithm flow, what from which chatbot to which chatbot it is going to divert. So that's another good thing. And also you need to be well clear about the platform where you're going to deploy this chatbot, whether it's going to be in WhatsApp, whether it's going to be integrated with your website, or whether it's going to be in your Telegram, or whether you're going to build virtual agent, which is not anymore in the software basis, but you can build a robotic phase, and you can just code it in a way or code it in a chatbot way, and you can integrate both hardware and software to engage with the students. So that's what my second upcoming project is all about. So before going into third and fourth step, I just want to say a few things like my primary interest of subject is all about robotics. And yes, chatbot plays a vital role in it also. And my upcoming project, I have planned to build a robot where, I mean, just a face of a robot where I can 3D print it, and the hardware stuff is bit easy to design and 3D print it. And then I can use the few microcontrollers like Arduino, or more bit advanced like Raspberry Pi, if few teachers would have already known that those kind of controllers can be used. uh, Raspberry Pi is nothing but it is a mini computer, I should say, in a nutshell. So using Raspberry Pi, what we can do is we can build a chatbot software, and we can just take out the software and just put it into the Raspberry Pi. So once we can do that, this Raspberry Pi will be integrated to the hardware 3D printed robot, and the robot, like what it talks when the sound comes out from the Raspberry Pi. So that's how it is. I mean, I have planned for my upcoming project. So that is one kind of application where we can build a chatbot. So you can build this kind of robots for your students also. I mean, for your student interaction, you can keep these kind of robots in your class. So that would much more look more high-tech lab or high-tech classroom. And it also motivates the children to create more chatbots and more robots also. Right. So into the third step, testing. So like any other software, the bot application requires in-depth testing so that all errors and bugs could be identified and removed, making it to operate intelligently in real-time applications. Okay, and fourth thing is to publish. So once you have tested it, where your chatbot is ready to go and ready to launch, it can be published in using an online website, or to using certain data centers, and traffic can then get directed to chatbot when end user opens up the website. And then connect. So between connect and publish, you need to get an interface I mean a phase where you need to get the feedback and improve your chatbot. So before you're going to connect it with the real-time platforms, what you need to do is that you should test it a lot, and you should get the feedbacks with the real-time users. So once you have got that feedbacks, again go to the first step, plan it, and then go for the second and the third, test it, and then again publish it. And this kind of iterative process is needed. And this is exactly how design thinking process also works. You just go to the last step and get the feedback after prototyping, and then come back to the first step. So this kind of iteration is required for building anything. So that's the same thing which we follow here. And connect. Yeah, after certain iterations, if you're satisfied with the chatbot, you just connect it with the online platforms like Skype, Facebook, WeChat, and etc. Okay. Now let's get a good understanding or in-depth understanding of how exactly this chatbot is working, or how does the chatbot work in the backend. So first thing, the user request analysis. So in this, we analyze the user's query, and we, like I said earlier, the second type of chatbot, the keyword analyzing chatbot. So what it does is that it analyzes or it picks out few keywords which are important in the query, and then it compares it with its database and gets the good analyzing and gives an output. I mean, it gives the response accordingly. So sometimes it won't be exact way, or it won't be much of a correct answer that we could provide. So that's one disadvantage of using analysis means. So like in the practical session, I'll more explain about it. Like not always we'll get good answers from a chatbot. So that's the difference between advanced and a beginner level chatbot. And the second type, or the second thing which we need to look how a chatbot works is that returning the proper response. So once a user intention is identified successfully by a chatbot, it should provide the most suitable response. So that's where this this phase comes in. So generally, it may respond in a general way, or more predefined messages can be popped up, and a piece of information connected with the context based on the data which already it has stored, and and also the outcome of an action that the chatbot performed by with querying with one another in the backend application. Like in the sense, if you're dealing with multiple chatbots, the the internally those chatbots should work on, and I mean those chatbots should be internally chatting on with each other. So that's what this whole phase is all about. And fine, so now let's move on to the practicality, I mean the practical part. So here we'll be building a chatbot using Scratch. And another disclaimer is that I'm not so good at Scratch like I use, and I haven't got any good exposure in Scratch. And yes, I do have enough idea of how it works, and what are the functions and how we could build more complicated stuff also. So yes, we'll be building this chatbot using the three basic programming concepts, using input and output, and if-else conditions and variables. I have given you a link also below here, and this is one good example of how a chatbot is being built using a Scratch. And now let me go on to my Scratch interface. Yes, I have already created an account and opened it for you guys. So the first step is that, like I said earlier, the very first step, what you need to do is define the problem, or you should be well aware why this, what the purpose of this chatbot is going to be. So what kind of chatbot I'm going to build here is user friendly, or more often friend, like you can call it as a buddy bot. So that's what I'm going to name here. Let it be buddy bot. So a friend robot is what I'm going to create now. And yeah, to start on with, let's move on to events like, yes, when clicked here, I hope this is the first step. And sensing, let's move on to sense and ask, what's your name? So this should be the first query that any bot should ask. So once that have been done, now let's go on to control operators, not even operators. Yeah. So what here I'm going to do is that I'm going to create a variable called name, which I have already created here, but you can create a variable called
Sir, shall
name.
we start with you? Shall we
Sorry.
start making with you? Sir, shall we start making with you?
Oh,
Or
sure,
shall
sure,
we
sure,
just
sure. Sure, sure,
okay?
sure, sure, sure. I'm so sorry that I prepared to ask you. I asked you to make a chatbot along with me, but I forgot to mention here. So of course, if anybody want to go on with me, just log into
Yes,
Scratch.
but be a little slow. We are just
Let
opening
me
it.
give. Okay, so okay, sure. Let me give a couple of minutes. Let me have a drink water. There is a query: is SDLC same as design thinking process? And if any teachers out there do have idea of what SDLC means?
It stands for System Development Life Cycle.
The
System
same thing.
Development Life Cycle. Is it the same as initially we were talking about SDLC? Is it same as design thinking? Has the name changed or is it different?
Okay, I'm not sure about it, to be frank. So this is the first time
Maybe
I
one
No,
of
got
it is.
to.
maybe one of the teachers over here would be able to
It's like
answer
same.
that question.
It's like planning, designing, all that comes in SDL, System Development Life Cycle, sir. How
Okay.
to plan, designing, also is almost same thing what you said.
Oh, fine.
Bala
I
said
think they have
it's the
changed the
same.
name now. Initially, the name was System Development Life Cycle. I think now the terminology has changed and they have made it as a design thinking process or something like that.
So like
I think there's a slight difference. SDLC, we can mention it as a general term for software development. Design thinking, instead, what I understood is, if there is a problem, we are analyzing the problem and we are coming to a solution. It may not be a software development as such. So that is the design thinking process or steps about.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is Bala. Ma'am. Actually, what Shah said is almost same, ma'am. Because one thing is missing here. The maintenance part is not available. The remaining everything is same. So once if you develop the software, we require analyzing and planning, building everything. No.
Yeah.
So one part is missing. Only maintenance is missing. Remaining everything is same.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you. So I think we'll look on about SDLC and the differences of design thinking a bit later. Now, if everybody has opened their Scratch window, I think we can get started.
Yeah. So to be frank, another point which I want to mention here is that recently I completed a computational thinking course in Coursera, and happening to get into more into computational thinking, I did not find any kind of much of a difference between design thinking or the computational thinking. And there are also few other methodologies to make software when I was working in Cognizant, because I was there for about 6 months. I was working on a project, and as a training part, they have really taught me about different stages or different process what we need to follow to build any kind of software. So at the base level, everything is same, like the computational thinking as well, and the design thinking, and even whatever the process of making a software or whatever the process of solving any kind of problem, everything is almost interconnected. And basically the points which I mentioned earlier for the chatbot is what we might be needed to solve any kind of problem. So that's one point what I feel.
Sir, can you please zoom the scratch screen? Zoom a little.
Is it small?
At the bottom there is a plus button. You can zoom.
Okay, 1 second.
Sir, in the center only, the script area.
Okay, you're talking about this. Fine.
Zoom.
I thought about the whole screen.
Yes, better.
Sure.
Thank
Fine.
you.
So shall we move on, right? We can start building a Scratch chatbot. Fine. So once you have done this, only thing which you need to make is create a variable called name, because we are going to store the name which we are going to give as an input. The chatbot is going to ask what is your name, and the answer should be the answer should be stored in the variable name. So this is just a local variable here, and we are going to get the answer from the user side. So for that, we'll go for syncing and get the answer and place it on here. So once this is done, now let's go for looks and say hello. So saying hello is bit not much more a user-friendly type, right? So what we'll do is that we'll make it bit customized. So using this our join operator, we can say hello, give a space bar, of course, is near here. And here we can erase it and give the answer. I mean, the answer variable could be stored here. So what happens is that let me play for you.
Harisa, your voice is breaking.
Sir, your net issue is there, I think so.
Lakshman.
Harisa?
Pause. Why is it so? Just a
Harisa,
second.
can
I
you
think I
hear
made a
me?
mistake here. Yes, I could hear you.
Yeah, your voice was breaking in between, maybe a small network coverage issue.
Okay, I'm sorry about it. Is it fine now?
No, it's much
Is
better.
it okay to
Much better
continue?
now. Yes, absolutely.
Might be some interfaces. Fine. So yes, you can store. Okay, once after completing a few parts, I'll just play it again, so there might not be any error. And once we are storing it to here, just a second.
How did you
I
write
made a
say
mistake
hello
here.
is equal to
So
answer? Just repeat that step.
okay. Let me delete it and show you again. So this saying till the step, is it fine now?
So we started just now. Can you start from the first step, that when clicked, from where you drag that?
Sure. Let me do it. Fine. So go for events. The very first one, that when you click the flag sprite, I mean the flag option, which is mentioned here to play the sprite. So once you have done this, then you go for sensing. Under sensing, there is an option called ask. So what this chatbot or what this sprite is going to do at the first step is it is going to ask your name. So that's what we are going to do here. I mean, that's what this function is going to do here. And then go for data. I mean, under the variable. Under the variable, you can click on set and drag it over here. So once the robot or once the chatbot is going to ask your name, you need to store that answer or whatever your name which you are going to give as an input in a certain variable. So that variable is what needed here. So I have already created the name variable here, but for your case there might not be a variable called name, but you can always make like clicking over here and go for name, because name is what we are going to give as an input. So once you have created, click and drag it over here. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Not here. You just select under the here variable. Fine. So once you have set the variable, now what you're going to do is that check out the answer. So the answer, whatever answer we are giving, it will be stored to the name. So that's what the set function is going to do. And what next step would be, go for looks and say hello for 2 seconds. So this could be done, and let me show with an example, like what's your name, and let me pull it as Lakshman. Hello. Look, it just a second. Yeah. So it says hello. So whatever your name, let me go for Shibi ma'am's name. So hello. What happens is that we could also check it out how our name is working, or is it store? I mean, the name variable is storing properly. So that's where comes the operator part. Under the operator part, this is a join function. Not join, like equal to. I think I should go for join here. Yeah. So you should use a join function and say hello. Give a space bar. And here what I'm going to do is that I'm not going to type anything, but I'm going to get the answer variable. I mean, whatever the answer.
Sir.
Yeah, hello.
Sir, from where we have to write this answer? Set name to answer. I'm not getting this one. Answer.
Yeah, under the function. One second. Yeah, another function variable. See, there is a variable right here.
Yeah, I made a variable with name and answer. To name is okay. How do you get answer word over there?
Under sensing.
No, actually answer
Under
is predefined. It is predefined in sensing part. Here
Okay.
is the answer.
Okay.
Whatever the answer to give, it will be stored here. It is predefined, so you don't need to.
All right. Thank you, sir.
So yeah, since I have already given the name as SGB, so it have been stored. I mean, the latest input have been stored, and that's what the answer. When you click on the sprite, I mean this option, it will be showing what the name or what the answer we have given. So let me play it for you. So now what's your name? Let me change it and go for Srividya. So she is
Sir, which
one good
operator
sister
you
of mine.
chose? Sir, which operator you chose?
For which one? For joining.
Join. Okay.
Here the joining option is. Okay, I think I should go a bit slow. So sorry. And join option is there.
Actually, we are working on, we are checking your screen and then we are coming to scratch and performing it.
Okay,
that's
I get
right.
it. Sorry, this is my first practical session, so I'm not sure. I'm not able to.
One suggestion, you can have both the scene, minimize your zoom screen and your scratch screen so that you can put it next to each other. So as Hari sir is explaining, you will also be able to see your scratch screen and then you will be able to do it together with it. Just a suggestion.
Thank you, ma'am. I think it will work.
On the keyboard, there is a Windows icon. So if you click on the Windows and a left arrow, our screen, I mean the window which is open will minimize to half of the screen. Similarly, if Harisa's screen we are minimizing to the right side, you can see it side by side. That is what I have done right now.
Thank you, Divya. So there are so many options.
Yes, I hope till this step everyone is following correctly, right?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, please.
Yes, sir.
So let me type as hello, and spacebar is required here. If not, it will be coinciding together. And give a spacebar, and instead of banana, your answer should be there. So go for again sensing, click and use the answer function. So now what we can do is that I'll stop it and run it again. I'm going to give the name as Srividya, and yes, look, hello Srividya, because we are not typing Srividya in the code. We have given as an input, and what it shows, I mean the input which we have given is being stored in the variable called name. So that's what happened. Yeah.
Sir, instead of writing answer in this, say hello, the last block, can we use the variable name over here because name has already stored the answer?
Yes, of course. Let me try it out for you. Variable name. Look, here is one kind of a predefined predefined function we can use directly, or if you are, like I said earlier, you can store it as a name also, a separate local variable.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. And okay, the next step would be like for going for again we need to ask what are you, or how are you doing. So those kind of query or any kind of query the bot should be asking. So for that, we'll go again for sensing and let the bot ask, well, how are you? Since my primary motto of building this chatbot is just to have a friendly conversation, let me ask, I mean, let the bot ask me or ask the user, how are you? So under the sensing option, we have a function called ask, and in ask, we can type it out, whatever the query you need to ask. It may be how are you, or whatever query your mind comes up with. Okay, so once this question is being asked, what I'm going to do is that here comes the bit of the programming concepts. Like I'll be using if else loop. So if else loop is being, we can get the if else loop from control option. So under the option called control, we have this if else loop. So like say a chatbot will be asking you how are you, and you sometimes you might not be fine or you'll be fine. So these kind of two options are there. So the bot needs to know whether you're fine or not. So that's why we are going to use this if else condition. So what I'm going to do is that if you're fine, the chatbot will be responding some query, I mean responding in a such a way. And if you're not fine, it goes under the else loop and it will answer a certain type of response. So that's what we are going to build now. So once here, now we should go again to the operators. So under the operators, now we can use this option or this function equal. So what I'm going to do here is you will get any type of answer, right? So sorry, where this answer, yeah. So under sensing, there is an answer like we used already here. We are going to get the answer from the user and store it here. And we are going to check it out whether we are going to say yes or no. So am I fine or not? So if I'm fine, then the robot will be saying something. So for that, we'll go again for looks and click and drag inside the if loop. So under the if loop, under the condition, if the answer is yes, then the bot will be saying glad or glad to know. I hope till this process or till this step everyone is fine. Let me know if anyone is finding any problem with this.
Sir, well, in that case, question should be a little different. The answer of how are you is not going to be yes. The answer of how are you should be fine or not fine or bad.
Sure. That's completely on our end. Like we can give whatever the output we needed. So
I have a problem.
To be more precise.
Hari,
Yes,
I did not get your, say how are you and wait box in my coding. I was not able to place it. When I bring it, it just goes down to the code. So maybe I'm doing something wrong.
Come again, at which point?
Just before the if else block, you have put once ask how are you, no? I was not able to get that into my code.
Okay, it comes under sensing. You could get the option here, right?
Yeah, I can see them, but when I bring it to my screen, it's not joining like how it is joining for you.
Is this the same problem like everyone is facing, or
no, it could be just mine. I think everybody else got it, so it's okay. Don't bother, go ahead, I'll catch up.
Sure. I'm not sure why this is happening because I'm not so well versed using Scratch.
No problem. Please go ahead.
Fine. Okay, so I hope till this.
Normally it sticks there, right?
Yeah, it's okay. For me, it's not sticking, but it's okay. Please go ahead. Let's not interrupt.
Okay, Sylvia. Fine. So let the answer be whatever it is going to be. So yeah, the point which I want to mention before building this chatbot is that here we are going to build a rule-based chatbot, the first type, the basic one. So only the basic type of robots the chatbots can be made using Scratch, and more complicated, we can't use NLP or machine learning under this, right? So for beginners, I mean, for kids and for your students, this would be a good step to start on with. So what the rule-based chatbot is all about, like I said earlier, it completely comes under what are the options that we are going to give. So only if the answer is going to be a fine, or if it is going to be yes, or if it is going to be, yeah, I'm good. So what are the answer? But only what are the conditions, or what are the kind of inputs that we are going to expect from the user is how the rule-based chatbot going to work. So that's one disadvantage. But I think this kind of chatbots can only be made in a Scratch. So
Hari sir, I have two queries.
Yes, ma'am.
First is we have used answer twice, but both the times answer is a different thing. So it would definitely be catching up the last question and then answer for that.
Of course. It is not going to be a global variable. So you could understand once I complete this if else loop. else loop, because I'll be typing and demonstrating it. By then you could understand the new answers which we'll be answering will be stored in this. I mean, when we are using the new answer option. So that's how this answer variable works. So yeah, while I'm demonstrating it, you could understand it much more clearly. So yes, let me continue. So what
And
if
another
the
thing,
answer?
sorry,
Yes, yes, ma'am.
another
Yes,
thing,
sure, sure.
if we write answer is equal to, let's say, good, so would that be case sensitive, or it would just sense both the cases, uppercase or lowercase?
Case sensitive is not a matter of thing in Scratch. Like you can give whatever the case whatever it can be. So I think this is good answer. Like let me demonstrate and explain it you. I mean, let's try it out together. Okay. So I think I should just complete this if else loop, and you guys could always experiment this all whatever queries you have. Fine. And under the else loop, so if I'm not going to answer as fine, then it automatically goes to else loop. So under the else loop, I could ask again by using ask function, which is under the sensing part. So place it over or under the else loop. And now what I'm going to ask it, I mean ask the user is that, oops, what can I do for you? So that's one good question that a chatbot could ask. So if you're not feeling well, so we can also, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to input few rules or few conditions. Like I could ask the user to choose, like generally rule-based chatbots are less functionable and they don't have many options. So for those options, we can predefinedly ask the users to choose one. So what this chatbot is capable of doing is that it can ask whether do you do you need a chat just for your emotional thing. And second option would be, uh, do you need some money? And third option could be, um, mm, something like, I am not sure, do you need shoes? So that's the only thing which pop up now. Fine. So under this if else, okay, let me zoom it out a bit. Okay. So I have the chatbot is going to ask what are the problems you have, or you choose one of these problems, and as an answer, as an answer, we could say, or we could go with another if else loop. So go with control and build another if else loop under else loop. So inside this, we are going to do the same steps which we have done earlier. So again, I'm going to go for operators, and I'm going to use this option equal to, and I'm going for sensing. I'm picking up the answer. I mean the latest answer which will be provided from the user. And let me say it is going to be the option 2. So if the user is going to ask for some money, or he can choose the option 2. So by then what the robot will be doing is that, not go for looks, say. To be more interactive, we can also add think, like the robot can think for a while before lending some money, right? So yeah, but the chatbot does not have a money, or it does not have any penny to help them. So what that chatbot will be doing is that, hey, I think it's time for you to earn. So that's one funny thing which we can do. And else we can end it up like, if else we can say,
Harisa, can you just zoom in a bit more? I think it's very small.
Okay. Oh, shall I stop my video? If I stop my video, the screen will be.
I think I would maximize my screen. What about others? Are you able to see it? It's fine there.
We are able to see, ma'am.
Yeah, go ahead.
Ma'am, from your side, you can.
Yeah, I maximized. Thank you, Santosh sir.
Sure. I hope the recorded videos will be provided to the teachers, right? They can also again come to this video and check it out.
Yes.
Okay, fine. So what I'm going to do is that glad to be at your service. So if the user is not going to answer anything or he does not want any kind of help, then we could say just glad to be at your service. And yes, I think pretty much this would be enough for building a basic chatbot. So now you would have got a good idea of how to build it. Let me demonstrate it and explain it again to you. So when I click go, what's your name? I would go with again Sri Vidya. She is my sister who is also present here. And it is going to ask, hello, Vidya. And it will ask, okay, why it is asking again, what's your name? Is there any mistake? Okay, I have gone with double entry here. Here should be, how are you? Fine. Let me pack it up and again. Hello, Srividya. And what happens is, how are you now? So once it asks, how are you? I'm going to say fine. If I'm going to say fine, just it will end the loop to glad to know. I mean, here. So if I'm going to say fine, it is going to show. Like ma'am, earlier ma'am asked about a query, what happens if we are going to say a different word? So I'll show you with an example. Hello, and how are you? I'm not going to say fine. I'm just going to say yes. So see, since I did not mention the answer which I needed in this loop, it just goes to this else condition. So under the else condition, I have mentioned this option of what can I do for you. So that's how it works. So only if the condition is satisfied, only the word fine is being satisfied by the chatbot, it goes or it says glad to know. So now I'll be only one, like you can add another if else statements for option 1 and option 2 also inside here, and which I'm not going to do here because it will be time consuming, and I'm planning for few other practical sessions about Python programming too. So you can just improve it in whatever way you want. So this is the basic structure. So I'm going to answer, or I'm going to choose the option 2. Enter it. See, the bot is thinking for 2 seconds and it is saying, hey, let me increase the time here, like about 5 seconds or something. It's time to earn. Like, how are you? Let me say no to think for 2 seconds. And the bot will be saying, I think it's time for you to earn for 5 seconds. And then it goes out. So yes, I think now most of you would have got a good idea of how a chatbot can be built in using Scratch. And is there any query about this topic? Is anyone able to build a chatbot here?
Plan, build, test is okay. And we need to connect it, So how?
That is completely a different kind of chatbot. Like if you're going to build up professionally, you're going to do that. Using Scratch, we could not, we would not able to connect it with the platforms. Like I said earlier, Connect is all about connecting your chatbot with the websites or with your mobile app or with Telegram
That
or
means
with your WhatsApp or WeChat or Facebook. So using Scratch, we can't connect to any other platforms, at least now.
Sir, actually, Scratch is used for only the kids students up to 8th standard. This is a basic building programming language. This is not used in our real world chatting, etc. They are using it in other platforms.
We use Python for
Python and any other languages. We are using JavaScript and other exceptional languages as well.
Yeah. Ramzan sir, I think we are on the first part of building chatbot. And as mentioned, we said that we'll go first with Scratch and Python, and then he said he'll take us through the dialogue flow.
I think, Miss, we can give an introduction using this.
Yes. See, all of us are quite new to these concept of developing chatbots. So today's session is just a curtain raiser of how chatbots are built. Now, there would be teachers here of different levels. Some may have already built chatbots and are working with chatbots. But I think there are many who are just starting off. So it's very important for them to know how it is basically built. So Hari sir is right now trying to take us through that.
Yeah, like I said, this is the first type of chatbot, rule-based. And to be frank, using Scratch, it can be completely, for 100%, I'm sure it could be only used for educational purposes, for teaching your kids, or for you to experiment and to get a good idea or algorithm of how you can build customizable chatbots. Even before building a chatbot using Python or some other developing platforms like Dialogbox or Amazon Lex. So before using those kind of platforms, you need to get an idea of how the flow of chat is going to be. So for that purpose, you could always use Scratch because it's like user friendly and also less time consuming. Fine. I hope everyone is clear with Scratch. Am I right? Like, shall I go on for the next topic or?
Yes, sir, please. Yes, sir, please continue with the next one.
There is only one question. Is this, there is a sound can be included in that? Like when he is saying hello, name and hello sound is also there?
Okay, like I said, I think sounds could also be implemented and
sir, yes, sir. Sounds can be implemented in Scratch.
Yeah, we can.
We can do that.
Okay, how to get the input of the sound? Could any of the teacher guide me here? Let me try it out right away.
Click on the sound option.
That should be the pre-recorded one, right?
Pre-recorded one, but you can record also.
But I guess whatever the answer has been entered while running the program, if the name is entered, the robot should say the name.
Might have to use the extension.
Yes, whatever strings we had written,
yes,
we should only speak up those strings.
Can I just add on to something? Yeah. There are add-ons over here at the bottom. So we have text-to-speech options over there also. Add-ons towards the left bottom. Yeah. So under the add-ons only, we would have text-to-speech kind of programming, which we can, yes, it is there. Right.
Oh, yeah.
So we can use those kind of things over here.
But one thing I want to ask you, like, who was answering this? Who was guiding me this? Miss
Raksha.
Oh, fine. Oh, fine. I have met you last session, right? Hello, man. Fine. Yeah. Actually, yeah, we can do that. We can try it out by voice recognition also.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure whether how to get this set it up with the answer which we are giving here. Should be hello and it should be stored. How
it works the same way. The operators can be added. It works the same way. It's just a block. You can put it wherever you had put say, glad to know, and you can use the operators.
No. The one question is that if I'm going to speak out something or if I'm saying fine or yes, then that input will be stored in certain variable. Like we have used the name variable, right? So how here is it's working?
Sir, here it is taking text to speech. So whatever is written would be coming as the background sound from the sprite.
Okay.
Yeah.
It will be just text to speech. I thought it will be like speech to text.
Not so interactive.
Fine. Okay, then I'll leave it this to you itself, because you can experiment it, and only I think my job about teaching the basics here is done, and I'll surely explore more about how to use Scratch. And of course, if you have any queries in Python, you can ask me. Fine. If any teacher is coming up with good, more interactive chatbot which can be made using Scratch, you can always go on with the next session. You can teach me. Okay, this was from the click when I click this. You can always teach me the upcoming sessions. I'll be looking forward for it. And yes, let's move on because it's already 4:50. So what are the couple of things which we'll be talking about is building a chatbot using Python, and it will be one is about using Chatterbot library, and another will be about Nlp library, which will be a Q&A robot. Fine. So I have already, again, if teachers want to go on with me and build the chatbot, you can always go on for Google Colab. And I'm assuming that most of the teachers are well aware of what Google Colab is all about. If not, you can cope up with the recording session. And for now, let me start on with, I have already opened a new notebook.
Sir, you have taken this notebook from the Google Lab.
Google Colab.
Colab,
yes, you can,
right.
You can just type it out like Google Colab. And the first thing which comes under research.google.com. Yeah, here you can create new notebook, or I have created already a demo notebook here. I will just opt for it. And this at the about how to use Google Colab and what functions using Google Colab and everything. You can explore it later on and create a blank notebook as of now. And how does it work is that it is actually a Jupyter kind of notebook which is connected to Google Cloud Storage System. It is cloud computing systems. So what happens is that here, like what are the commands we give, everything will be processed by the Google Cloud systems. It won't be consuming your own computer, CPU or GPU. We can also make this notebook to make use of your computer's GPU and TPU. Like we can choose whatever the network you want or whatever the runtime you want. Everything will be available here. Fine. I'm not going to teach more about Google Colab. So let's start on with programming. So I hope everyone is fine and clear now. So before moving on to this, let me explain you what kind of library we are going to use. So as I said earlier, it is called as a Chatterbot library. So Chatterbot library is a Python library, and what the basic purpose of, as a name suggests itself, the basic purpose of this library is to build a chatbot. For developing chatbot, it is being used. And this algorithm which have been inside this library is which it uses a selection of machine learning algorithms to fabricate varying response to the users as per the request. So generally machine learning algorithms being used up to build this Chatterbot library as a whole. So yes, we could say that we are going to build a chatbot using machine learning algorithms, because we're not going to use it directly, but we are going to use as a library source. Fine, this Chatterbot makes it easier to develop chatbots that engage in conversations. It starts by creating an untrained Chatterbot that has no prior experience or knowledge regarding how to communicate. So we'll be building a Chatterbot, and we'll be training it, and we'll also be getting the response from the chatbot. So that's all what we'll be doing now. And Chatterbot library, it is trained previously in such a way, or in a certain algorithm, to search for the closest analogous response by finding the closest analogous request made by the user. So that's how the keyword system is going to be used. So now what kind of chatbot we are building? Yes, we built a chatbot using rule-based system or rule-based type, and that's what the Scratch programming is all about. And now using Python, we are going to build a second type, the independent or keyword obtaining chatbot. So that's the type of chatbot which we'll be talking now. Let me fine. And the one important USP of Chatterbot is that it enables developers to create their own data set and structures at ease. So what we are going to do is that we are going to give certain data sets, or we are going to give certain data as input to this chatbot. So first, let's begin with installing the Chatterbot library. So before going into creating any kind of program, it may be whatever the program it may be using Python or whatever it is. So the first thing we should do is we should satisfy the prerequisites. So one such prerequisite here is that we should install the Chatterbot library. And not only that, we'll be installing Chatterbot Corpus also. Let me start typing and explaining. So if you are going to use a platform like Google Colab, which comes under the Jupyter Notebook, or Jupyter Notebook kind of thing, or platform, you should always use pip. Before pip, this exclamation mark should be there. So pip install Chatterbot. Okay, so you can do this if you are not going to use Google Colab or any kind of Jupyter Notebook, and you're using a specific platforms or like Anaconda or PyCharm platforms. You don't need to go for this exclamation mark. You just erase it and just go with pip installing. So I'm sorry. So installing using pip command is one good efficient method that recently many developers have been using, and it does not throw up any kind of errors. And it is also easy to install. So let me run it and let me bring out a new code cell here. So clicking on here, we can create a new code cell. So another advantage of using Google Colab is that we can run each and every code separately. You don't need to run all after typing all the codes and run it all together. That's actually, it's possible using Google Colab also, but it is not necessarily. We can right away check it out, any error is there or not in single code or in the single code cell itself. And now what I'm going to do is that the next important thing which we need to install is that a corpus. So what, let me type it for you. Pip install Chatterbot corpus. So what this corpus is that it is actually a collection of words. So this contains a corpus of data or amount of data that is included in the Chatterbot module. So each corpus is nothing but a prototype of different input statements and their responses. So these corpus are used by bots to train themselves. The most recommended method of installing Chatterbot Chatter corpus is generally the pip. I would really suggest you go for pip installing. And corpus is all about having set of data or predefined conversation between a human and a bot.
So Harris sir, one doubt, sir. What is the purpose of corpus now? Chatbot is the library functions, and what is the purpose of corpus?
To be so in a nutshell, I should say that Chatterbot corpus is nothing but a module inside the Chatterbot library. So why particularly we're going to install Chatterbot corpus separately is because they do have certain functions which could not be accessed directly if you're going to use a Chatterbot library. So what suggestion from my end is that after the session, you can also try without installing Chatterbot corpus. So what are the kinds of error is popping up is what you get to know. You could understand it much more better if you look at the errors.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, to be frank, like corpus is nothing but data. Like we are going to use predefined data. So under the library, under the Chatterbot library, there is going to be many modules and many functions and many ML algorithms. but we are going to extract a particular module which is called as Corpus in order for good conversation or for easy programming purposes. That's the sole purpose of using a Chatterbot Corpus.
Sir, if we are trying to work with you, so but it on my side it's showing error. It's showing message like could not find a version that satisfies the requirement Chatterbot.
Check the spelling, ma'am. Check the spelling.
Check the spelling, ma'am.
Because I also got the same message.
Install spelling is there.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Just check the spelling. Double L for install.
That's one thing which I always do. I never got this double L thing itself, because whenever I program, only now subconsciously I wrote double L, but every time I type install, only one L pops up. So that might be a simple error only. Fine. So what we are going to do is that next step is that we should import the chatbot class of the Chatterbot module. So we are going to import a certain class. So I hope many of the faculties are from computer science department and IT department, and you would have got an idea about what OOPS and how Python works, right? So you know what class means. So here under the Chatterbot module or Chatterbot library, there is a class called Chatbot. So that's what we are going to import it. So for importing it, let me type it here. It's for importing Chatterbot. So we're going to import the Chatterbot, and this is how it is done. From Chatterbot library, we are going to import the Chatbot class. Be aware of the spelling here. Again, the Chatbot C should be caps and D should be caps. So run it. So I have imported the Chatbot class. So you won't get any kind of output because we are just importing it. I hope everyone is clear.
Yes, sir.
The next thing is that we are going to create an instance for this Chatbot. So it's kind of an interesting part, or now is what we are going to code it a bit seriously. So we can choose any kind of name you want. This single line of code generate, which I'm going to type, let me type, it will generate our own new bot name, like whatever the name you want. So for creating an object for this Chatbot class, we should use, or let me type it out for you, create object of Chatbot class. So we are going to create an object. So what that object is going to be, bot equal to Chatbot, and we are going to name. So here naming, you can go on with any kind of name for your Chatbot. So here what I'm going to do is, let me go with just like I went earlier.
Correct? Oh, that's all. No A is there?
I'm sorry, I could not hear you properly, ma'am.
The link. Create, you have written no A is there, the word create.
You're not clear.
It's hash create. Right, correct.
Oh, sorry. There is a spelling mistake over there. Fine. So this is how you create an object.
Could you zoom in a little bit, please, the code? Could you just increase the zoom window size of your Explorer? Yeah, thank you.
Fine.
So the name of the class is Chatbot, where B has to be capital. So while creating the object, B should be capitalized.
Okay, here. Oh, thank you. That might be an error because I forgot. So yes, always, like I said earlier, even I might be not aware of that spelling mistakes.
Yeah, it happens.
So I'm going to run it for you. So what happens here is that here we have created an object. The next, I'm a bit confused.
There is another doubt, sir. Is the buddy board is there? Actually, we can give our own name.
Of course,
of course, yeah, that's.
You can give any name on that. That's just a name for your object.
And sir, will this name be displayed anywhere? This buddy bot?
Of course, in the upcoming slide, I mean upcoming codes, you will get to know.
Okay, thank you so much.
While I'm running it, it will be showing the body bot says this and body bot is going to say that. That's
okay,
how.
okay. Yeah, thank you, sir.
Excuse me, sir. I'm getting error while importing from Chatterbot import chatbot. It is saying because both the modules were successfully installed, but this line is showing error.
Could you check it out again for spelling mistakes? Is a chatbot here?
I had done, sir.
So
Chatterbot.
you can share the link of notebook later and we can observe your steps now because.
Of course, because many might have getting a few simple errors only, because I
Yeah.
don't think like I have already run this whole code and I have checked it out, and I hope there is no error in this. But if you're getting any kind of error, you can also ping me or mail me. I'll be sharing my details of contact in the end of this session, and I'll surely help you out right away as soon as possible. Fine. Now let me create the next code cell. The next step would be to install certain packages or certain adapters. So we have created a robot. We have created a instance and we have created a class. Now what we are going to do is that I'm going to install few other adapters. So adapters are nothing but let me type and explain you chatbot. So chatbot is going to be my buddy bot. So what BuddyBot is going to do is that is going to install certain storage options. Storage underscore adapter, which will be chatbot dot storage dot SQL storage adapter. Don't worry, I'll just explain this once I completed this line. And again, another thing which should be there is accessing the database. So accessing the database should be URI will be equal to SQLite slide 3. Let me run and check whether the code is correct. No, there is an error. Where exactly?
So it's URL.
No, actually there is a difference between URL and URI also, because here we'll be using URI. The error is I think that's okay. Simple error. Just to the close bracket. Fine. Now it's fine. Okay, done. So what exactly this line is all about, what happening here is that I'm just positioning a storage adapter with the chatbot object. So storage adapters allow you to connect to particular storage unit or to a certain network. For using a storage adapter, we need to specify it. So that's what I have done here. So we will position the storage adapter by assigning it to the import path, which I'll be doing in the next slide, next coding. And here what happening is that we are using certain SQL storage adapter. We are using certain SQL storage adapter, which permits the chatbot to connect to the databases in the SQL. By using the database parameter, we will create a new SQLite database, and we will and what happens is that we will use certain path to access the SQL storage database. So what that path looks like is that let me type it out for you. Again, I need to go for, let me go for next code. It will be much easier for you to understand. So here I'm going to input some logic adapters. Sorry. Should be adapters, right? Yeah, that's the only thing which was bugging me. Let me complete both of the adapters and then check it out. What happens here is that we need to what logic dot mismatch and Chatterbot dot logic dot time logic adapter. Let me check it out.
So chatbot B capital.
Yes. And also there is an error in the syntax, like
A code is missing. A code. Logic adapter is equal to chatterbot.logic.bestmatch. You have given a code, but where does it start?
So the square bracket to be replaced.
To be starting here. Fine. Again, error.
The second parameter.
Sir, in the end, there is yes.
Again the code.
Thank you. Okay, so what I have done here is that first I have accessed certain SQL storage database, and then the logic adapter, what it does is that it compares, or like I said earlier, the rule-based chatbot, how does it work? It picks out the keyword. So the best matching keywords will be extracted. For extracting, we need to use this kind of logic adapter. So that's the purpose of building and logic adapter here. So we have done both, like another thing, like I did not explain of the time logic adapter. So it is nothing like for just for more timing senses, we'll be using time logic adapter. So if it is not like compulsory you need there, you can also erase it if you don't want. So when more than one logic adapter is put to use, the chatbot will calculate the confidence level, and the response will be with the highest calculated confidence will be returning as an output. So that's how the predefined adapters are there. So these kind of predefined adapters will be inside Chatterbot. I mean the Chatterbot library. So from the Chatterbot library, we termed it as the chatbot, I mean the instance, and this we are going to extract these kind of adapters from the chatbot, and we are going to give those extracted adapters to our bot, which we are going to make. And once you have adapted all the adapters, now we should be training the chatbot.
I want to ask one thing, like you have written every statement in a different code block. So as such, is there any reason for doing that, or?
No, for good explanation purposes, I'm doing it. You can also combine it together and go, because I just want whether is there any kind of error in which code. So that's the
fine. And every time you're calling the constructor chatbot, like as per the class, if we say these are probably all the constructors, so with different parameters. So how is this making, like, is it modifying the same variable bot every time? If you could just clarify that.
No, actually it doesn't modify anything. It is what is it? It's like something like a global variable. Once we have set it to it, it will be keep on adding, like whatever the different adapters or whatever different kind of input we are going to give, it will be keep on adding to our bot. I mean the smart
Okay, so it doesn't create a new object every time, but it just keeps...
it does not.
Thank you.
Thank you. So the final step now. So now let's train.
Sir, can I also ask a question while you're still here?
Sorry.
Can I ask a question?
So sure.
Okay, so I'm trying to figure out the SQLite database that you're making use of. Is it already having the data with the intent and since we are talking about a rule-based chatbot over here, So what has to be the statement and what has to be looked for? Is it already saved in the database?
Sure, Hamid. So what happening or what's the purpose of accessing the database is that these adapters will be understanding whatever the rules that we're going to give. So it is not something like the rules are predefined there, or those kind of database does not have predefined purpose there. It is just trained with certain databases. See, what's happening exactly, or what we are building exactly, is that this Chatterbot library is something with, and I should say this model is being trained with several ML algorithms. So those ML algorithms being trained and built using certain kind of databases. So what ML algorithms does is that those databases will be analyzed and they will have a general structure of whatever inputs that we are going to give, or whatever the rules that we are going to give. These algorithms will take the keywords because it has been trained to get or pick the keywords from the predefined
the
database.
whole concept of lemmatization, summarization, bag of words algorithm is already predefined with the database, which is, and it's intervened with the adopters that we are looking at, right? So we are not looking at creation like in the previous example of the Scratch. We were telling that if this is a question, this is a possible answer. We are not doing it right now, right?
No, we are not completely going to do it, but we are, of course, that will be the output which we'll be needing. But here there is going to be less number of code or less number of programming which we are going to use.
Yeah, that I got that. But sir, it would be great if after you've done this, you could just give us a little bit insight on how the SQLite also works. That would be great.
Sure. Yes, fine. So SQL, I mean the adapter, like I said earlier, it is nothing but we are going to access the database parameters, and we'll be creating a new SQLite parameter. But only thing which I want to say is that to be at in a nutshell, how does it works is that we are going to use predefined or pre-trained models. So those pre-trained models we need to access. So those access points will be there in the database. So for accessing those access points or accessing those pre-trained model, what the adapters are for. So we are just like a mobile adapter, we are going to plug in and pull out the necessary adapters like storage and logic adapters which we'll be needing from the database. So that's the purpose of writing the storage adapters and SQL. We are just accessing the SQL storage and the logic adapters too. There can be many adapters inside a Chatterbot library, or whatever the library you're going to use. There can be many adapters or many APIs or many pre-trained models, but we are going to only use certain type, that is Chatterbot storage or SQL and the logic adapters. I mean the best match thing. Is that what all needed now? Hamid ma'am, is that what you required?
Yeah,
or should
I got that part, sir. Thank you so much. I got that part. Thank you.
Sure. So now let's start training the model. Okay, so now let's import it first. What we are going to do is that.
So for just a second, can you scroll up your screen?
Sure. Is it enough, or to the previous?
Scroll up to the top. Just
Okay,
for a second.
Okay. To the first coding, or
yeah, first and the second one. I just wanted to see. Yes, sir. Thank you.
So like you said, we are not going to use any kind of lemmatization, or we are not going to tokenize certain things, and we are not going to do some complicated stuff, or I should say that comes under more programming and Python lines. Here I'm just trying to do with those adapters. So without using adapters, what we'll be using lemmatization and segmentation, and also extracting the keywords. Those kind of training purposes we'll be doing by hard coding using Python. I'm not going to that complicated part. I feel that this would be right for beginning, or this would be right for Python beginners. Fine. So let me import the list trainer. So in this step, we are going to train the chatbot, and from what I'm going to do is that I'm going to input certain things. So chatterbot.trainers. So this is from. So from Chatterbot, we are going to extract a module called Chatterbot trainers. And I'm going to import this trainer. I'll complete the code a bit and I'll explain you line by line. What happens then is that we'll go on for trainer equal to list trainer of bot. So what's happening here is that training a chatbot using Chatterbot is simple as providing a conversation into a chatbot database. As soon as the chatbot is given a data set, it produces the essential entries in the chatbot's knowledge graph to represent the input and output in right manner. So that's the purpose of training a chatbot. It should be able to analyze what kind of input that the user is being given and what kind of output it should be done. So for training, for like in the design thinking process, we'll be keep on iterating to get best solution, right? So that's how this training also works. And for that, there is a predefined trainer which will be available in Chatterbot library, and that's what this list trainer is all about. And what I have done in this line is that I have imported list trainer, and it creates a chatbot. It creates an object by passing chatbot object, and call the train method by passing the list of sentences. So let me type it out, and you'll understand much more clearly. So here comes what we are going to train. So there are few things that a rule-based or a database needs, right? So we are not going to give any kind of special data set here, but what I'm going to do here is predefined data set. Like we could create something like, hi. I know like many would have got many queries now. So just hold it up. I'll explain you. Hello. What type of robot what kind of chatbot I'm going to make is that let me make a service chatbot. So it can be like, I need your help regarding my order of a e-commerce site. Fine. So what I'm typing here is that if I say hi, the robot should say hello. And if I ask for, I mean, if the, I mean, what the robot will be asking you what kind of help you need, and I need your help regarding my order is one kind of input which I might give. Let me type everything and show you with an experiment with your order ID. Fine. Is the code is correct? What I'm going to do is, let me ask, I have a complaint. And the bot will say, please elaborate your concern. And let me say how long it is going to take. There should be, and the chatbot must reply me like an order takes 3 to 5 business days to deliver. Again, I missed. Okay, thanks. Fine. The robot is no problem. Have a great day. Let me just all together under the screen. Yep. So what I'm going to train here is that the Chatterbot or the chatbot will be replying to anything, and it will be we need to make specific chatbot to based on our needs. So here I'm going to build a chatbot which should be answering certain questions, and it's what should I say? It can be like an e-commerce chatbot. So it is just helping out for a customer. So like these are the inputs and outputs which I might be required, and what this trainer does is that the first word which I have given as an input hi will be from the user, and the second would be from the chatbot, and the third would be from the user, and the fourth would be from the chatbot. So that's how the trainer will be trained to do. So these are few predefined things I'm going to give. These are few rules which I'm going to give. So after building this chatbot, if I what exactly it does is that if I give a word like see, I need to ask a question like how long it is going to take, right? So for that I could also ask like how long. So if I just type how long, this chatbot, the trained chatbot will go pick up the word from here. So for this query, for how long query, it will be answering or it will be responding from this answer. So the next line, I mean here. So this will be the chatbots response. Like I said earlier, the first one will be the user's input, and this will be response, and again this will be user, and this will be the response. Like that, this will be the question from the user, and this will be the answer. So this is just a small database which we are going to type or which we are going to create. So the next, in the next example which I'll be showing you, there we'll be creating an Q&A robot where we'll be giving the input as a whole article or whole Wikipedia's content, where the chatbot will automatically, which the chatbot automatically will be recognizing those words. So I think it's already 4:52. So let me continue on. So let me complete it and then again answer your queries now. So what the response must be, we should give the response, right? So the bot dot get response. So if you're well versed in Python, you know how the get response will be working, and there's a get response. So we are going to ask the robot to respond accordingly. So this could be an example for you guys. So I just train it. Did I train this model? Yeah, train this model. Let me train. I have trained completely. So once you get 100%, the whole database or the data lines which we have given have been trained. And what I'll be checking on is that whether it's going to work correctly or not. So I'll just give an example like I have a complaint. So then I'll be printing out the bot's response. What the bot's response would be stored student response. So here what's happening is that I'm giving this as an input, and it is going to access this database, and it will come back and store it as in the variable called response. And from the response, it will be answering when I print it.
Are these responses like the input? Sorry, the input statements are case sensitive or insensitive when I'm having them as a query?
No, it is not case sensitive. Let me explain. Because see,
the response spelling is there. Response spelling.
I'll just check it out there.
PONS.
Because
no.
Again.
C. BONSES.
Sorry.
SE.
Fine. So see, the answer is please elaborate your concern, because with here is the user's query, and this would be the answer for the answer from the chatbot. So as ma'am I asked, let me try with the case sensitive also, like what I'm going to is complaint. See what exactly the purpose, like I said, this trained chatbot or this Chatterbot library is going to just pick out the keywords irrespective of whatever the case sensitive or not, or it does not go, or it does not understand whole sentence or whole this query. It is not going to look out for whole query, but rather it will be looking for few keywords like complaint and have. But at the same time, it won't be like 100% perfect, because let me put it on in a different way. Like let me ask the chatbot to respond, I have a complaint, or let me ask like just I got a complaint.
So probably we should be able to provide some, huge CSV file with all type of variations.
Exactly, we can, that's one type or one method we can go with. You can create a Excel sheet where the few queries should be answered from by the robot, chatbot, and what are the queries by the users. So those predefined rules or database you can create in an Excel sheet, and you can also give as an input using Python. I hope you are well versed about how to import the data sheet and how to actually that's a bit complicated, and that's where we need to do some tokenization and we need to parse the data. So this is just a basic example which I'm going to give you, like a few predefined lines.
Very good insight into the module. First time I used it.
Fine. So another thing, see, what happened here is that it gave a wrong answer. So no problem. Okay, I have written the spelling mistake. Fine. So have a great day. So it directly understood, it misunderstood my query. Like I said earlier, it won't be like 100% sure. So the keyword which it is picking might not be just the word complaint, or it might be the logic adapters which we have imported might be mistaken, or the best match between the query and the answer which we have given here might be mismatched. So due to that, we might sometimes we get a wrong answer. So that's one thing which I want to show you. And yes, we have done it. And what exactly the next condition or what we should create is that we can create a while loop and mention few other queries also. Like it should be much more user friendly, right? So let's ask for the name, input, enter your name, and welcome to the bot service. Let me know how can I help you.
Hari sir, can I share something?
Sure, ma'am. Sure.
Every time I'm running this earlier one response one, I'm getting a different response each time from here. So whatever is there in the list, whatever I have typed in, I'm getting responses from there and a new one each time I run it. So that has been my observation, sir.
Okay, like sometimes you're getting right answers, but sometimes you're getting the wrong answer. Is that what for the same query? Is that what you're telling me?
From the same, for the same query, I'm getting different responses, whatever I have typed in the list. So every time
Yes,
it would be coming out a different string.
Of course, I could understand, because the other thing is that we are not going to use any kind of specific algorithms or specific NLP programming here, because it will be tough. Or see, using the Chatterbot library is one thing, but for building a more efficient chatbot, we need to do certain stuff. Like I said earlier, if we are going to go with a database, if you're going to import a CSV file, the Excel file, we should do certain processes like ma'am have said earlier, rather than using adapters which are predefined, and that won't be 100% efficient each time while we are running. That's a great disadvantage of using adapters. But if we are going to use manually, or if you're going to manually program, and if you're going to parse the data each wise, and we are going to use, like I said earlier, lemmatization is there, tokenization is there. So there are many in-depth concepts where which is must to be used, because that's where only the chatbot will be getting more efficient. So the answer which we will be getting much should be accurate. So for that accuracy, we'll be using those kind of structures like tokenization and
Yes.
so here I'm not going to adapt to it. So kindly hold it on, because you might
No, sir,
not get.
thanks. It was just an observation which I wanted to share. Thank you.
So yeah, in the upcoming session, probably in the next session, I'll try to use the whole tokenization thing and in-depth concepts about how a chatbot can be built using Python. Okay, so that can be actually a bit complicated. Before that, I think for beginners this might be a good start, because we are not going to use certain concepts, but rather we are using an adapters. So that's the only difference between there and here. And using adapters, again, in a nutshell, using adapters, you won't get the answer for exact answer every time, but you can build a robot within few lines of code. So let me just complete and show you how small it is. So why true, we should make the request. I think it's already fried, so I'll just go on a bit quickly.
Sir, the indentation is wrong. I think so. Indentation is wrong.
Okay, yeah. So input the name which we are giving, and if the request is, if the user is saying bye.
Wrong spelling.
Okay. Boy, or the request is going to be in smaller case, but so here we should be aware of case sensitive, because we are using Python requests. And yeah, now print the bot says idea buddy bot, which I just mentioned as bot, is bye. And let's break. Now comes the else loop. Inside else loop, I'm going to get the response, which will be from the bot.get. We're getting the response here from the request made by the user. Is there any error? Let me think. No. So print it there. Fine. So let me run it. Okay, there is no error. So now let's do the same thing what we did in the scratch. So just enter a name. Let it be Lakshman, and see the bot will be saying, welcome, what can I help for you? And the query which I should give should be inside, or should be something from this. So I just copy and paste, just because time saving, right? Okay, the spelling mistake here and there also, regarding spelling mistake. So I'll just type enter. See, I think now it is correct. So I need for the query, I need your help regarding my order. The bot is replying, please provide your order ID. So the next query, which I did not go for, like, what if I give the order ID, or it might be again a bit complicated. And the next query which I can go with is that I have complaint. Please elaborate your concern, and let me check it out with, okay, thanks. Problem spelling is mistake there. See, no problem. I have a great day. But again, let me just say thanks. See, here what happening is that the Chatterbot library or the module, I mean the instance which we have provided already, the trainer trains in a way, and those important keyword here was thanks. So when I just gave correct response which we expected, but at the same time, sometimes if he type just okay, it might also reply the same, but sometimes it won't be replying the same. See, the bot is also saying okay thanks. When I say just thanks, it will just say that. And let me just go with, I have a complaint again. Okay, no, that is already experimented. Yeah, so regarding my order will be erased and just ask, I need your help. See, it is getting, it is understanding that my problem is something related to order, because nothing else I have given there. But when I give regarding my order, I'll just remove the I need your help. See, the bot is not understanding. Here the error is, it is just saying hello. So like I said earlier, it won't be correct all the times, because the picking out the keywords is what the adapters does. And not every time the correct word or correct thing is being picked out. So yeah, that's, I think that's all about building a chatbot using a Python at the basic level. So I haven't used any specific database or predefined database, or I did not use what to say, I did not use any kind of lemmatization, tokenization kind of stuff where it gets a bit complicated, not complicated. It will be much into Python programming. So how to parse the given data and how to analyze the user's input much more efficient. I mean, those things will be making the chatbot but bit more efficient. So I think like for beginners purpose, for beginners, I think this would be much helpful and needed. So let me count the lines: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, about less than 20 to 20 words only we have done this program. So if you put all together, let me just stop it. So yes, of course, after this loop, you need to give a break and you need to end the system. So that will be your part. So yes, within 20 lines, we are able to create a chatbot. This is how a basic level chatbot can be done using Python. So why using Python is that it, once you understand this thing, you can build more advanced your chatbots using much more machine learning algorithms and much more complicated libraries. So one thing which I want to share is that Chatterbot library is one good one good library for making chat boxes. But there is another thing called transformers. So if teachers have got an idea of what a GPT is all about, then you would understand what transformer is. So OpenAI is, I have opened it for you guys already. So here GPT-3 model is there. So it is by OpenAI company. So OpenAI is one of the company of Elon Musk, and it is an open source company. Like they create, they create models and they create transformers. Like we used a library, there is something called as transformers. So there, like it's mentioned here, what exactly it does is that it is helped, or it understands the human like text and voice much more clearly. So this transformer model is what exactly it does is that it is trained by billions and billions of data sets, and the accuracy of using if we are going to use a GPT-3 model and building a chatbot, the accuracy level is more than 80%. Like if we type anything, it will understand very quickly, and the interaction, the chatbot interaction will also be more user friendly. And we can't use this GPT-3 as of now because it is not available to everyone. but you can always go to openai.com and apply for getting this GPT-3 library, I mean GPT-3 transformer. And I have already gotten access for using this transformer, but I haven't done a chatbot using this transformer due to some time constraint. If possible, I'll just explain how to build more efficient more efficient chatbot using this transformer in the upcoming session. Fine. Is there any query, ma'am, or is there anything which I need to clarify to you in this section?
Thank you so much. I think, this is the first time many of us are actually trying chatbots. So the personal experience of writing something like this and getting the responses on your screen is quite, content and quite joyful. So I don't know. I don't have any queries. If any of, like, for this particular session, I think you've done a fabulous job, sir, because within this stipulated time period, you took us through two platforms. One was Scratch and one was Python. And we got an idea about, okay, how to start and how to go about it. So for people like me who are taking baby steps into this was a great session. And I'm sure I could see a lot of messages in the chat box. All the teachers are quite happy and grateful for this session. So if there is anybody who wants to ask something, you can ask. There is another session coming up. I think it's on next Sunday. That is using dialogue flow. Yes, sir?
Yes, we can build a chatbot using dialogue flow, which would be much more easy and accurate. As well as if time permits, I would build a chatbot using this GPT-3 model. I mean the advanced model also.
Yeah, so the
and
second
also
session,
I want.
Yeah, someone is saying something?
No, it was me only. Like I just want to show you another chatbot which I have made. It is nothing but Q&A bot. Where it is? It's not here. This could also be done, and here is an chatbot using NLP. I'll just show you for just an example or more clarity.
Sir, can you share your contact details so that if there is any problem in our code, then we can ask your help?
Yes. The details will be shared, ma'am. Dipshika, ma'am. He will share his contact details. So, and he will also share the Google Colab notebook so that later those who could not get it, they can just check the code and correct it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
Here is a small chatbot which I have made recently. This is about a Q&A demo bot. Here I have used a different library. Like I said, there can be many libraries to build chatbot. So this is one kind of library which could be used instead of Chatterbot library, which is called as Alan NLP. So you can always Google about it. And Alan NLP chat library was made by Alan Institute for Artificial Intelligence. So it's one good premium institute for learning artificial intelligence located at US. So they came up with a good a good chatbot library. And what I did is the same thing. Like I have installed it, and like adapters, here comes a predictor. So what predictor is that? Is the same kind of thing where we used logic adapter for best matches, right? So for predicting the queries to connect the, to predict the answer for a certain query is what this predictor does. So we'll be accessing it using certain link which I'll be provided. It is actually done by Alan NLP Institute. And what happens here is that it is so easy that this is less than 10 lines of code only. So first thing is that you install this NLP model, the library, and then what you do is that go for a predictor line statement. And then once you have done it, then what happens here is that you could give any kind of passage or article. Here I have extracted an article from Wikipedia and given as an input. So this is actually a huge article, and let me show you. See, this is how a huge article it is. I just copied and pasted here, because you can also connect, or you can also web scrap. If you're well versed in Python, you can web scrap and directly get the data, or directly get an article from any kind of websites, and you're storing it inside this passage object. Then that's it. That's all step we needed. And then we are going for the result. So in the result, what we are going to do is that we are accessing the predictor there. The predictor which we use there, and we are just going to, we are going to connect it with the passage which we have given here. So that's the line here. And we are going to ask certain questions. So expectancy for men. So this is our life expectancy. You can ask any kind of here a few queries which I have mentioned. And like I said earlier, the answer might be accurate and sometimes it might not be. So what happens is that it analyzes and gives the answer as 63.67.3. This was the answer which is provided inside this whole article. So I hope you could see here. So in this article, there is a line which mentioned with the life expectancy of women being 69.6 and for men being 67.3. But and I have asked how much life expectancy for men. So there is an error. I'll just look it out and send it to you. The name predictor is not defined because, like, I haven't run this passage or I haven't run the code once again. So each time when you open a new Colab, we should run each and every code once again. I have not done it, so that's why the error is. So anyways, the answer would be correctly. It will be showing 67.3. So you can also ask about what are the union territories managed and a few other queries related to that article. So how this could help in your class is that you could you can give the input as an article from your textbooks, or you can get the data from copy and paste your just textbook as chapters, and you can even frame questions and ask the chatbot to bring out the answer. So this would be good a good exercise to show for your students also. So this is just 4, 5, 6, 7 lines of code. So only 7 lines of code is needed here. I will surely share the collab link with you. I share it with ma'am, and she'll be on communicating with everyone. So she'll share with you. So that's all I have planned for this session. And let me just show you.
Hari sir, it definitely shows your passion towards the subject. I'm so much motivated by this. I can't tell you, really. Thanks.
Like I know, like many of you are teachers here, and you are very good at learning new stuff. You are well trained to learn books, right? So I have included few books for you, latest books about chatbot, and that you can also check it out. What are the good books for learning chatbots?
Okay, Harisa, can you stop sharing the screen? We would like to take a small photograph with everybody who's presenting.
Sure. And here is my contact details. I'll share it with ma'am, and no worries.
Yeah, we already have 2 sessions which has been planned for this June. The next one is by Hari sir, which is based on diagram flow, developing chatbots again. And another one Venkat sir would be taking. Venkat sir, you here? Yeah, Venkat sir, could you tell us what would be the topic that you would be taking us through?
I'm talking about AI project cycle, ma'am. That is for
Yes.
chapter 2 in grade 10.
Yes, AI project cycle, though it is a chapter from grade 10, and I'm sure all those who are going to take grade 11 will also immensely benefit. So 3 sessions are already planned. We want one more so that we have the June also packed and we can all get started with it. So if there is any teacher who would like to say something before we go to the formal vote of thanks, the forum is open to you if you would like to say something. See, if you're somebody who can take a session on any topic, please do connect. We will definitely have, see, this is a collaborative platform. As you must have seen that as Hari sir was taking us through, there were situations where 1 or 2 questions he was not able to answer, and there were teachers who were helping. That is exactly what this community is all about. Okay, we may not know everything, but there would be friends of ours or colleagues of ours who will help us. I would tell you something. I have not shared the feedback form with you all today. I was planning to, and suddenly yesterday night at 11:30, one of the teacher from the community sends me a message saying, okay, we can give certificates. Do you know how to give certificates using Google Forms? I said, no, I don't know, but would you teach me? And she was so willing to, it's 11:30 at night and she's sending me a recording of how to, send certificates in Google Form. But unfortunately, I didn't get the time and we're working on it. That is why the feedback form is not shared with you. So we will share the feedback form with you. We are trying to give you certificates because we understand there are schools that check for, credentials. You've attended a webinar, so if you produce a certificate, they value it. So just for the sake of it, I am sure this 2 hours of session was extremely useful. Personally, I was like a child. Okay, there were times when I got stuck and I didn't get the output. Then I was looking at where did I go wrong? Is my spelling wrong? So it was always good to go back to the learning mode, and it would enrich us. And as Shaibi ma'am exactly said, that Sundays are definitely enriching for us. We make sure that Sunday naps we sacrifice and we come and sit in front of our systems, and whoever is leading us, we are with them. So there's somebody who's asking, can we have a session on creating certificates through Google? Okay, we will see if we can do that. That would be wonderful, because that can be used for our students. When they're writing these examinations, you're giving them some tests based on a module. I think Profs is one platform where you write a test and you can give the students get a certificate. So it's a big booster, So I think we will take it up, Latif ma'am. I will have to check who would take it up for us, but definitely we will see. Okay, so yeah, this forum is open for 2 minutes for any teachers who would like to.
Can I just request everyone to turn on the cameras?
Yeah, please do that. Please do that. Every time I post these pictures on the social media, it's only these, the names and the mute button and all. Let's see your faces. Okay, please get your cameras on if possible. Yes, thank you so much. Everybody on a Sunday evening is looking quite active, energetic, ready to face the coming week. So yes, Harmeet ma'am is here. Okay, I think Raksha ma'am, you can just take.
Yeah.
She's an official photographer. Every time, every session, all our sessions are recorded, and we have a proof that we had something like that because of her and Neha ma'am. Neha ma'am is here today. I don't think Neha ma'am has joined us today. So yes.
Done, ma'am. Done. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. So if there is nobody who would like to say something, I think they have all posted their feedbacks on the chat box. So I would request Sri Vidya to come forward and propose an official, a word of thanks to Harisa.
Thank you, Shibi. Thank you so much. Am I audible, Shibi?
Yes, yes.
Yes. So the very active and intelligent resource person of the day, Mr. Harilaxmanan from Amrita Vishwavidyapeetham, and the all-time vibrant friend of mine, Ms. Shibi Anand from Excelsior School, Kottayam, and all the very lively teachers present here. A very good afternoon to one another. As Mark Doran has rightly said, the art of teaching is the art of assisting discovery, isn't it? That is exactly what we witnessed today. Just like Shibi ma'am just now told, we were all acting like a child. I was also taking the other tab. I was having multiple tabs open. We were even from our school, Cochin Refinery School, we had the computer science teachers group. We were chatting about this. We were sharing our experiences, taking snapshots of the work we have done. So all this has happened only because of you, Mr. Hari.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hari, for guiding us in designing the chatbots. I'm sorry I'm calling him by name because he's a very brother-like person for me. I'm sorry, Hari, I can't call you sir.
Come on. Yeah, actually, sometimes I used to find it difficult instead of calling you Chechi. Every time I need to address you as Srividya, ma'am. In front of kids, I should address you with respect, right? So, yeah, fine.
Thank you, Hari. We are very, very excited. We were trying out multiple lines of code in Scratch and Python and Colab, multiple things together. We have been extremely patient in addressing our queries. We are very much obliged to what you have given us today. And the most beautiful thing about learning is that nobody can take it out from you. Any other physical assets can be taken, but not what you have learned. Thank you so much, Hari, for that. On behalf of the entire teaching fraternity present here, I extend my heartfelt thanks to you. Thank you. Leaders become great not because of the power, because of the ability to empower others. This is exactly what I feel about our dear Shibi ma'am. She has been working relentlessly, heading the entire AI community for teachers. If I'm not wrong, Chibi ma'am, I think this is the 6th session, right?
Yes, yes, it is the 6th session.
It is the 6th. So we understand you have been working so hard day in and day out. So many queries are coming. You are answering all of them. Thanks a ton for roping us also in. Last, not the least, a very special thanks to all the teachers who have been attending the session after sacrificing so many personal things at home. Of course, it is Sunday. We ladies normally have a lot of work preparing for the upcoming week, but sacrificing all those things we have in here, and I'm 100% sure that it is worth all the effort. So once again, thank you for roping me in. Thank you for roping us all in. Thank you so much. I forgot. Thanks to Harpreet ma'am for the snap. Please share the snap, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, dear teachers. It is because of you we were able to have 6 sessions. So 2 more sessions in June is already planned. We'll have 1 more session. We'll try to get somebody else also, or we'll see how we can manage 1 more session. So thank you so much for giving us your time and supporting. It is not me. I am just a means of this. It is the togetherness that makes it special. So may God bless you all. May you all be safe and healthy wherever you are. And maybe all come together next Sunday for another session of, even I was finding it very difficult to call Hari sir, because I've been talking to him as Hari and suddenly, but then I think when you need to, a guru is always a guru. So you need to respect, irrespective of the age of a guru. So he's been a wonderful guru today. So please accept our humble pranamams. And we would expect you to come to the session next time also and share your knowledge with us so that we all grow together with you. Thank you so much for being here. Have a good Sunday evening and a good week that's coming. God bless you.
Thank you, everyone, and see you by next session.
Okay, thank you, Harisa.